Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dot to Dot. Well, today I'm going to talk about the stone cairns that are on Lot 15 that was mentioned on the last episode of The Curse of Oak Island. Apparently, they're going to give the GPS coordinates and take them to Europe and talk to the gentleman who did the astronomical uh, analysis of Nolan's cross, dating it to 1200 AD. And I find it interesting that it's going to be interesting to see what date he comes up with, because I have sort of a theory about what date these stone cairns were put on, but uh, it'll be interesting to see if on the show they're actually going to, since they know where they are. I guess they have GPS coordinates. If they run some vectors, if Steve Guptill will do a little bit of surveying and see how they align up. Now, I did a video about a year ago about the stone cairns. You can see March 4th. And I think it's one of the greatest landmarks ever discovered on Oak Island. And it has a big significance in our theory, the vault theory. And I did analysis for at least a year of how these vectors line up with different other landmarks on Oak Island. So here's the interview that you could go to with that talks about the stone piles. This is done by Dossier O'Connor, and it is compiled by Les McPhee. Now, he interviewed in 1976 Fred Nolan and also Dan Blankenship, and I'll leave a link in the description of this article and the pages where you can find both interviews from of Dan Blankenship and Fred Nolan. But you can see that they're 12 feet in diameter, and they're very, I guess somewhere else it says that they're 5 feet high. So they're pretty big. And what I think these stone cairns were used for, I got a little illustration here, is here, see this triangle is, let's say that's a stone cairn. And you have, I think they put like a pole or a trunk, something really high through the middle of the stone cairns that supported this pole. And what you would do, let's say if you walk in this direction and you're going to walk in that direction, you're going to line these up. So it's coming this closer. And when you get them lined up, now you have the vector on which the point will be on. So this is what I believe the stone cairns are about. And let's go to Google Earth. And so here is what I did last week on my last video, giving you the different geometry that's related to the stone triangle and the rocks that are in the 1937 survey, and the rose stone, and Nolan's cross, and the drilled rocks, and the swamp stone. And now we're going to add Fred Nolan's stone piles. So here's the survey. This survey is scaled, oriented, and registered by Fred Nolan's house. And I'll show you how that's linked to Fred Nolan's house. Let's see, where's it? So Nolan's map. So if you see on this picture, here's Fred Nolan's house. And so it's registered right over his house. There's his house. There's the register. So that's how this is registered. So I'm not saying that these are going to be totally accurate. I'm going just by this survey. I would like to have the GPS coordinates for these stone piles. That would be great if anybody could help me with that. I guess you'd have to know somebody on the show. But the vectors that come out of the stone triangle really relate to it relates to Nolan's cross, and it relates also to the vault theory, which it has an alignment with the north anchor, and also through this stone pile and this rock that was marked on Fred Nolan's survey, it goes to the south anchor. These also go to what we call the set point, which is very important in the vault theory. And another thing is it goes out to the Frog Island landing. And this is all done through an alignment on a map. I don't think it's something that you survey, at least that one to Frog Island, that you would survey on the island. But these would definitely be something that you would survey. These are on a high point right here. Let's see, you can see the elevation. You can see that these are above the elevation here. Actually, it goes down to 28 feet to that first one, up to 43 feet. So this is why they may have been, stone piles to put large poles in so that they could line them up, or at least these two right here, this one and this one. So, and they come down, and our point that we think that they are lining up with. Now, this is not, 100% accurate because I don't know exactly where they are, but, somewhere in this area, they would come down and there would be an intersection here. This is also an intersection with the 1937 survey, which I talked about last time. And the stone cairns also have a relationship, at least this rock here. Now, these rocks, I don't know if they're on the survey. You can see they're on the survey. They're not listed as stone piles, but Fred Nolan talks about 3 rocks that had ring bolts that were in line. And this one over here is not labeled a stone pile. So maybe these are the 2. Maybe this was the 3rd one. I don't know. But he does mention there was 2 rocks or 3 rocks that were in line that had ring bolts that went due west. So these are probably them. And if you look at this here, the rock here and the stone pile here, this stone pile is due east of cone A, and this rock is due south of what we call the 429 extension, which is the same distance from here, this distance from here to the headstone to cone D, which is also an alignment from this ring bolt to this stone pile to this ring bolt goes to cone D. Now, Fred Nolan, he had an idea that these triangles pointed in an in a westerly direction of 13 degrees, and it does point in a direction of about 13 degrees of true west. So he's saying that the declination in 1762, which his theory was about the sacking of Havana, Cuba, and they brought the gold to Oak Island, pirates did, that would be a due west direction. So 13 degrees south of true west would be the declination of magnetic west during that time period. So this is an interesting thing. The stone cairns have a lot to do. I've been working with them for, wow, I don't know, probably about 3 years now. It would be nice to have the real GPS coordinates so I could verify this. The stone triangle they're going to talk about also, and we know that the stone triangle, it was down in this area and was demolished in 1966 by Dunfield, and but we have the 1937 survey by George Bates that tells us, basically where it was in reference to the large boulder, which I call the Rose Stone. And now there's some things that say that the true north went to the Money Pit. It doesn't really go. It goes to the Money Pit area. Um, let's get on the right. It goes to the Money Pit area, but it really what they called the Money Pit during the time of that survey was basically where Gilbert Hedden had his shaft, and it does go right through where Hedden's shaft was. So that would be why it would be considered the Money Pit. But this is the stone cairns and how they fit into the geometry. Look at all the lines in white are basically vectors from known points, from known landmarks on Oak Island. They go each one of these white lines go through at least two known real landmarks on Oak Island, and this is the geometry that it spells out. At least in my estimation, this is what it is telling us. So, oh, another thing I wanted to say is the mention of these 7 degrees. Now, we talked about last time about cone C through the drilled rocks, through cone A, through a drilled rock, and down to the drilled rock at the 1937 survey. And here is the 45-degree angle that is from La Formula, which is part of the vault theory in red that goes through La Hampe. Now, this 45-degree angle between this 45 and this white line that goes here, this angle between here is 7 degrees. The angle that's from the stone triangle, if you remember, there was one marker going, the stone triangle was pointing in a 7 degrees, and that there was a marker in this triangle that gave us the true north reference in the stone triangle. So this is 7 degrees. And if you go from the drilled rock to right here, this is also 7 degrees. So a very repetitious use of 7 degrees in this geometry. So that's it. This is the stone cairns. We'll see what they have to say on the next episode of The Curse of Oak Island, if they have that information available. The declination or the magnetic variation that I believe that it's associated with is right here, 21 degrees. And I did a study on this magnetic variation, and there's 2 dates actually, because it's an arc, it goes up, and the earliest date it would be the late 1300s, say around 1360, and the latest, the going on the way down in the magnetic variation, the other date would be around the 1530s. So 1530, so 13, basically around 1380 to 90s to 1530-ish would be the date of these stone cairns, because I believe that they put in the magnetic variation just like Fred Nolan thought too. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.